Yo, what's up guys? Today, I'm about to review something that I never thought would exist, and that's the roguelike DLC for Bloons Tower Defense 6 called Rogue Legends. This sounds like an idea that I would have, but never would expect to come true. It's a pretty interesting combo mixing a tower defense and a roguelike. For starters, you pick your class like any other roguelike. The heroes and towers are more specific and limiting though. You have to play with a certain idea or strategy. That's because the gameplay itself can be unexpected or difficult. It's a little like Bloons Monkey City where each round is more random compared to the original Bloons Tower Defense games, and if you don't know what you're doing, you'll learn the hard way. I was treating this casually and struggled in the beginning. I got better over time, which is how it works for most roguelikes. You'll learn and get used to a lot of different mechanics and decisions you'll be making in the game. One of the biggest ones is the artifacts you'll be picking throughout the game. These have crazy potential like changing stats and changing the gameplay in new interesting ways. Some of my favorites are the bouncing projectiles or the heat-seeking projectiles, but most of them are pretty tame while changing up the gameplay. There are different rarities that are just better versions of that artifact. You can get artifacts in the treasure chests and doing extra stuff like the mini-games. The mini-games are cool, but not that unique. You just kill mini-bosses and do races, but they're useful and fun to do for extra rewards you get from them. You can have synergy with the artifacts to help you beat these mini-games and bosses. I'm sure you noticed me traveling around this map, which is a nice size and it's cool deciding which path you take, but you also get these neat little campfires that help you out in a few different ways. You can recruit a new tower, upgrade one of them so they're cheaper, or upgrade an artifact. So you have a few different options and strategies with these artifacts. Not to confuse them with those in-game boosts that are temporary for that specific match, that decision making can be very important too. Now I've been calling it a roguelike, but it's more of a roguelite because whenever you beat a stage, which is all the levels on the current map you're on, you get to permanently extract one of your artifacts and keep it forever. You can't use it for the rest of that run, but you can choose to start with it from that point on. So there is some level of progression, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before you beat a whole stage, for just beating a level, you get this currency. You can use this at shops where you can buy and sell more artifacts. It can be pretty fun seeing the merchant have strong artifacts and making good decisions. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of the artifacts aren't worth using. A lot of them can have a pro and a con, but the con doesn't seem worth it most of the time, even if you upgrade them. I wish certain upgrades made the negative less bad, but maybe there's not supposed to be that many simply strong artifacts. The pros and cons can make it interesting. Even though sometimes the game can feel impossible and I wish I got better artifacts, it can feel like a puzzle trying to figure out any way you don't lose. Then it can be sad when you finally accept your defeat after committing hours to that run. The first few stages seem to take about an hour each and there's 5 stages in total. So far I only got to stage 3, but I've been avoiding watching videos to figure it out. It's a fun experience starting out as a noob and getting better. You get more money as you beat each level, but you only get 5 lives in total, so if you lose 5 times, you have to start all over. Luckily you can heal at the campfire, so you have all this time in preparation to fight the boss at the end of each stage. This is what it comes down to, and hopefully your decision making up until this point allows you to beat the boss. Your towers and artifacts could suck, so you might not stand a chance, but if you know what you're doing, you get rewarded with a legendary artifact or tower, and you get to permanently keep one of your artifacts. Then you get to move on to the next stage and progress forward until you make it to stage 5. That's essentially the gameplay loop. So far I think this DLC roguelike has a pretty good progression and replayability. Right now I have about 30 hours of playtime, which I think justifies the $10 price tag. I don't know how you feel reacting to that price, but I don't think it's too bad if you like this genre. You can definitely get your money's worth, especially if you already really like BTD 6 and want more to do. It's a great game mode to sink hours into when there's no collection event or odyssey. I also like how I have something to show for it with these specific Rogue Legends achievements. It's unfortunate that they aren't Steam achievements, but good enough. They can be pretty difficult or have longevity. At least you can show some of it off on your profile, and I almost forgot you get this cool profile pic and banner. But even with all of that, I've heard some people say all of this can get a bit repetitive, and I can see where they're coming from, but that doesn't apply to me as much. I mostly play this game when I'm eating, watching a video, or listening to music. I don't get bored. So keep all of that in mind when I say I've been having a good time on Rogue Legends. I had a great first impression even though I was struggling. This is right up my alley. It's still surprising that they made this. Roguelikes have been more popular lately, but I don't think this is for everyone. If you're a casual Bloons Tower Defense fan and this looks too weird, then maybe skip out on this. But if this looks interesting enough where you might play it for at least 10 hours, then I think it's worth it. But if you're like me and enjoy roguelikes and have nearly 2,000 hours on BTD6, then it's definitely worth getting. At the very least, you can try the free trial and see how you feel about it, which is generous of Ninjakiwi. And apparently they're gonna add more to this game mode. I don't know if that means they'll update it or we'll have to pay more, but I'm open to see what they do, especially at this level of quality. I can tell that they didn't rush out this DLC. It's very interesting to think that one of these BTD6 updates can have a whole new game mode or DLC. But what do you guys think of this DLC? Do you think it's worth it or too weird for you to enjoy? Let me know down below. Right now, I'm showing you my favorite comments from my last BTD6 video, which was a while ago. But it's still fun to make these comments interactive and give you guys a spotlight. You never know which video or comment will get that spotlight. Not to mention my first channel member because I started channel membership recently. Drop a comment or maybe consider subscribing if you made it this far. I make videos on a bunch of games, but I can imagine making a 100-hour review for this DLC. Depends how bad you guys really want it. But thank you guys for watching until the very end. That makes you better than everyone else. It's always exciting experiencing new Ninjakiwi content, and I'm interested to see what direction they go in if they're willing to make a Bloons Tower Defense roguelike. We'll just have to wait and see. But thanks for watching, guys. Peace.